My name is Rashi Doster, and I will be discussing the Stonewall riots of 1967 and the events that happened thus after through 1969. The movement that I chose to show a correlation with the Stonewall riots is the Civil Rights Movement. The connections between blacks engaging in acts to receive civil rights shows a direct correlation to the liberations that people of the LGBT community fought for. Although the fight for civil rights is highly linked to those in the black community, any groups of persons who have been targeted through oppression and discrimination as a result of civil liberties being taken has the right to be heard for those liberties. The reason why I chose this is because, as the book states, homophobia and racism goes hand in hand. Just as being homosexual, being black, or any other minority is defined as being the other. Homosexuality is the other of heterosexuality, and black and other minorities are the other of whites. So let's look at religion. Christianity plays a very big part in the roles of American lives today and in that time. Christianity talks about homosexuality and also the black community. In regards to homosexuality, in regards to Christianity, homosexuality was forbidden. In regards to being black, it was frowned upon. So if we take a look at being homosexual and trying to be a Christian, that cannot. And then a double standard of being black and homosexual, you cannot. So that's the question. Freedom will include us. So who is us? And then what does that freedom include? The reasons why I feel like these two are joined together. So if you look at the term double-edged sword versus double-ended sword, if you Google it, both pictures will come up. So this is why I figured that the fight was one and the same. So if we look at black rights, blacks fought for equality from whites. They were not able to hide their ethnicities. Self-dignity and respect while allowing to promote self-love was something they fought for. And they also had state laws preventing social economic process. We all know blacks couldn't vote, blacks couldn't drive. It was all types of restrictions that prevented the black community to progress. And then if we look at the rights of homosexuals, they were fighting for equality from heterosexual communities. They were straight unless stated otherwise. Hence the fact that many men tried to be perceived dominant, so then that way their sexuality would not be questioned. They also fought for self-dignity and respect, which to promote self-love. And they also had state laws preventing employment. So back in 1959, President Dwight Eisenhower put ban restrictions on anybody who self-identified as being homosexual. With these bans, if you were found for federal government jobs, if you were found to be homosexual, you will then lose your job. And back then it was connected from federal to state. So it was a very hard time for those who self-identified as homosexual to find jobs. So let's go ahead and look at this question. If I turn off the lights, will there be characteristics that will self-identify my ethnicity but not my sexual identity? You yourself will have to answer that question. What about me says that I'm black? What about me says I'm not black? Is there something about the tone of my voice that says that I might self-identify as being homosexual? So if we look at the root of queer oppression, it starts from the belief that there are only two genders and that there are only two gender identities. one being woman, the other being male, one being masculine, and the other being feminine. When you don't fall in those two categories, you are deemed as the other. So let's go ahead and look at civil rights leaders who fought the good fight. We have Martin Luther King here, and it says, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter." So because the Stonewall riots happened, it was a fed up. It was a fed up and tired of being bullied, tired of hiding, and tired of not being able to express them. So we have here Joan Nestle, a quote, "Because nearly every gay activist in the movement was closeted or had not come to identify as gay, and because their primary concern was advancing the cause of racial justice, the roles of gays and lesbians in the Black freedom struggle has often gone unrecognized." Although when we look at the fight of civil liberties, we look at Black people and oppressed people, we more or less focus on the race of being Black. And we forget that Black people, because of this fight, tied along to the fight of social justice for those other oppressed people, such as people of the LGBTQ community. So here we have Bridging the Gap. These people right here are just some of the few people who self-identify as being homosexual and also helped out the Black activist movement. So we have Eddie Sandler, a gay male who helped out the Black freedom riders as they came through Jackson. Malcolm Boyd is a gay priest who joined the freedom riders, bringing the power of prayer with him. So this right here not only connects gay, but also Christianity to being both Black and homosexual, and also being homosexual in the Christian form. Bill Higgs, a gay Harvard graduate, founded the Mississippi Free Press, a pro-civil rights newspaper. He was also homosexual. So here I just went ahead and added some quotes. Gay rights are civil rights, because there's still a direct correlation between civil rights in the Black community and civil rights in the gay community, because the fight still goes on. We just barely in 2008 went ahead and passed the legalized marriage between gay couples. And then a funny thing I just realized too, or learned I should say, through researching, is slavery was actually abolished in 2013 because it was still in Mississippi's law. So we have here just a funny little comic skit. Trouble began around 1:30 a.m. when police lined up and arrested certain Stonewall patrons. And so if you look at certains and look in keywords here that says freaks, the queens, that right there just ties in with the whole root of the Black community and their fight. You have people of a lighter complexion that can pass as whites, and then you have people in the homosexual community who are perceived to be straight. So that's why it's certain people were arrested instead of everybody arrested as a whole. So here's just a picture of taking off the mask. So I feel that we all put on a mask to try to hide some form of frame of who we are to fit into society. Whether it's straightening our hair, whether it's putting on makeup, whether it's instead of us not being flamboyant and wearing solid colored clothes, we all hide some sort of aspect of us to fit into society. So as social workers, it is our role to help bring out the true identity in the self and allow the individual to find the truth in their self. The Stonewall riots lasted 6 days, and it was bloody and it was dangerous. When we correlate that to that of the black community. There are plenty of times when the black community has been just fed up and violence occurred and there was blood. Time after time, we can just go ahead and link the two together because oppression is oppression. And when the oppressed people have had enough, the oppressed people will speak. And how they speak will determine how they feel in regards to how they've been treated. There's plenty of instances and plenty of laws put in place throughout these years that prevented them from being who they are, from starting families, from growing, from saving together, from actually living the quote-unquote American dream. Alrighty, that is the end of my time. Thank you.